Hello, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Sarah Janes from Soap School, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make matcha soap. Now, matcha is well known as an aphrodisiac product, and that may be why you've joined me today, but I want to use it and see how it's going to alter the soap. Is it going to add properties to the soap? How is it going to change the colour and the feel of the soap? And these are all things that you can do with each ingredient that you want to play with. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to secure the end over my pipe. So I'm just using a regular PVC pipe and I've put a little liner inside, and then I'm going to use some cling film or saran wrap, which I've doubled over, and I'm just going to pop it over the end nice and tightly. And just to secure that, I'm using some paper tape. So just regular masking tape, and I'm going to run 2 layers of this all the way around my pipe. It's a really effective and very, very cheap circular mould. It works a treat. And there we go. Now, if you like watching videos about soap making, or you're interested in soap making for yourself, do click the subscribe button and come and join me every week, where I share lots of new videos and techniques with you. Now, I'm just using one of my regular everyday recipes today, and I'll put the recipe into the description for you. But you can make this particular project with whichever of the soap recipes that you prefer. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take my lye water, which I've already blended. So it's just my sodium hydroxide and water. And I'm just going to add the matcha powder into this. Now, adding it to the lye is just one way that you can make your soap. Another way to test it is to actually use the matcha powder into the oils themselves. And believe it or not, depending on whether you infuse it into oils or water, can totally change the colour of the soap, even when it's the same ingredient being used. So I do really urge you to just play with things and see which gives you the best results for your particular additive. So I'm going to stick blend this now, because otherwise it's going to stay lumpy. So I'm literally just going to stick blend that powder into my lye solution. And I anticipate that this is probably only going to be just a regular kind of light tan colour when it's finished, but sometimes you get really surprised by colour changes that happen in your soap. Okay, that's nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and add the lye solution now into my oils. Just give this a good mix up. So matcha itself is a Peruvian product, and it's known as Peruvian Viagra. It's very much used over there as an aphrodisiac product. So you might even see me using this in my husband's bath bombs before long. But it's also used for acne and skin blemishes, and it's part of the radish family. It's actually related to cabbage and broccoli. Now, it's got some great items in which we use in skincare products quite a bit. Things like vitamin B6, the niacin. Now, we've got quite a few things in here which we use a lot in skincare. So things like vitamin B6, niacin, and vitamin C. So all things that we love for skincare products. I'm going to give this a quick buzz and start to thicken the mix. You know, this colour currently reminds me of chicken gravy. Maybe I'm a bit hungry. I've actually been tasting this recently. When you first taste the maca powder, it has a very sweet flavour to it, sweet taste. And then all of a sudden it goes very, very bitter. And then within another couple of seconds, it just disappears altogether. It doesn't kind of leave a lingering aftertaste like some things do. I was quite surprised. So one thing I did notice was that this actually took a little bit longer than normal with this recipe to trace. So that's something that you might notice as well. I've got some ground walnut shells here. So one thing I did notice was that this took a little bit longer than normal to trace with this particular recipe. And that may be the maca powder affecting it. It may just be one of those days. But I'm going to add in a fragrance which I thought really captured the properties of this particular soap. So we're going to be adding in a fragrance called Lovelspell, as it is supposed to be an aphrodisiac. And of course you can switch that for whatever type of fragrance or essential oils that you want. And I'm also using ground apricot kernel shells because these are actually grown over in Peru. It's a locally produced product, and I love mixing things from one region. And you could even incorporate apricot kernel oil into your soap recipe. Another thing I looked at adding into this particular recipe was annatto, because annatto is also grown over in Peru, and that would give a really vibrant yellowy orange colour to the soap. But that's all blended in really well now. You can see all those lovely apricot shells. This is going to look gorgeous. And then I'm just going to fill my mould up with this beautiful mixture. And I've got enough left for a single bar as well, so that's really great. We'll come back and have a look at this once it's all set up, and we'll cut it tomorrow. So the matcha soap is now ready to come out of the mould. I've taken the tape and cling film off the end, and because I lined it, it's really easy to just pop out of the mould. Now you don't have to line them, but it really will make your life a lot easier. I buy these little 20 centimetre square silicone sheets and just line them with them, and they just work out a treat. Now, there's an interesting smell from this, but I like the colour. I love the speckle in there as well, so I really like using that exfoliant, but I can feel already that the soap is a little bit soft. And I remember when we were making this, I actually mentioned it took longer to trace than I would normally expect with this particular recipe. And I do feel that the soap is actually softer than normal. So I do think that the maca is actually altering the soap in some way. Let's cut this open and see what it looks like inside. It's still plenty firm enough, and I'm sure this will dry out nice and firm, but it's just a little bit softer than I expected. It's nice and soft, so you can see it's tearing the edges a little bit, and that's quite common. And the easiest way is to fix that while the soap is soft, and just run your finger around them, and you get a nice smooth bar. But overall, I actually really like the look of that one. The colour is nice. It's a mid-tan colour. And I really like the little speckles all of the way through it. So actually, I'm quite happy with that. I have put the recipe for this into the description underneath. So if it is something that you'd like to try along with, do please let me know how you get on. And I would love to see you again, so hit the subscribe button underneath, and if you ding that bell, you'll get a notification every time that we add a new video. Thanks so much for joining us today.